A beautiful girl was in love with a guy who was kinda creepy. He was nice to her, but also a little too possessive and violent. But she didn't care because he was hot. One day she went to the mall with her girlfriends. She was so excited to show them the new guy she was dating. "Ooh, I bet he's cute," said one of her friends. He was sitting at a table with his eyes closed, but when he heard her footsteps, he opened his eyes and flashed her a smile that made her knees weak. "Yeah, I bet he's so cute you can't even see his eyes anymore," said another, winking at her. Then he turned to her friends and extended his hand. "Nice to meet you," he said. His voice was deep and raspy like sandpaper. It sent shivers down her spine. When they got to the food court, the girl spotted him immediately. The girl noticed that her friends weren't as impressed by her boyfriend as she was. They thought he was weird. Her friends were whispering to her, telling her that she could do better. She just ignored them. She couldn't wait to tell him about her day. They thought he had something to do with the circus. They thought he looked like a creepy duck. She rolled her eyes at their comments. She knew what she liked. "This is him," she said to her friends. "This is my boyfriend." He stood up and gave her a quick kiss on the lips. "But I think your friend dropped her ice cream cone." It fell right into my lap. Her friends were a bit uneasy around him, but they were polite and introduced themselves. Then they looked back at the boyfriend whose face was covered in ice cream. He licked it off his fingers and smiled at them. After they introduced themselves, the boyfriend sat back down and closed his eyes again. She leaned over and said, "That was so rude. Don't ever do that again. Don't be scared. My love," he whispered. "I'll protect you." "But you love me," he said with a big smile. "I do, but that was still rude." He shrugged and leaned back. She could feel his eyes boring into her skull. She shivered. She looked into his eyes and saw a darkness that scared her. She was in love with a monster. She wanted to stay with her boyfriend, but he wouldn't let her. He stood up and walked towards them. Her friends were watching him from a distance, and when her boyfriend started staring at her, they started to freak out. They grabbed her and pulled her away. "Come on, let's get out of here," they said. "That guy is crazy." The girl didn't want to go. "You're not going to believe this," he said, his eyes wide and innocent. They all turned and stared at the ice cream-stained pants. Her friend screamed and ran for the hills. The girl just stood there in shock as her boyfriend walked towards her, his eyes boring into hers. "What did they see that was so scary?" she whispered. He leaned in close and said, "I don't know, but it didn't matter because now it was just us two alone." She took a step back. "Ha! I need some air." He grabbed her hand and pulled her close. She tried to pull away, but he only held her tighter.